You want to know why your life hasn't changed? Why you're still broke? Still lost? Still invisible? It's because you're high. High on blame. It's the cheapest drug in existence. Doesn't cost a dime to get hooked, but it will bankrupt your future because blame feels amazing. It strokes your ego. It whispers, you're not the problem. They are. And the second you buy that lie, you sell your soul. You give up the one thing that could ever set you free. Control. See, when you blame, you don't just avoid responsibility. You surrender control. You hand the steering wheel of your life to someone else, and now they drive straight off a cliff with your future in the back seat. You think you're winning moral points. You think you're showing how wrong they were, but what you're really doing is letting them sink your ship while you're still on board. You blame your parents, your boss, your ex, the government. Yeah, I see you pointing. And guess what? While you're aiming, your own ship is sinking. Because blame is seductive. It's not just a defense mechanism. It's a slow suicide in disguise. It keeps you comfortable, numb, distracted. It turned accountability into the enemy and victimhood into a lifestyle. But here's the brutal truth. No one is coming. Not your therapist. Not your new relationship. Not some once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. If you're waiting for rescue, prepare to drown. Because this life, it's rigged in favor of those who take control, those who take responsibility, those who hold the reins, those who own every single inch of their story, not just the wins, but the scars, the sabotage, the self-destruction. Look closer. In this game, the only player who matters is the one you see in the mirror, and that player is 100% accountable, not 80, not 95, 100%. Until you accept that, everything else is noise. Motivation, useless. Discipline, temporary. Success, impossible. Because if you're not in control, then who is? And if it's not you, you've already lost. So, if it's your mindset that's broken, how does that actually play out in your life? It plays out in a loop. You want to know what blame really is. It's not just a feeling. It's a system, a cycle. And once you're in it, you don't even realize you're trapped. The blame loop works like this. Phase 1. Life punches you in the teeth. You lose your job. You get cheated on. Someone betrays your trust. Again. Phase 2. Your primal instinct kicks in. You point the finger. They screwed me. They lied. They ruined my life. It's almost automatic. Before you even know it, you've handed over the reins. Phase 3. The trap snaps shut. You freeze. You stop growing. You replay the pain, not to heal, but to rehearse, to stay righteous, to stay angry, to stay small. Because as long as it's someone else's fault, you're off the hook. No accountability, no growth, just emotional inertia. You think you're processing, but you're actually protecting your wounds. You wear them like armor. You think they're making you strong, but they're just making you stuck. You start building your life around what happened, not what could be. Blame becomes your identity. You stop moving forward because the story of the past is louder than your future. And while you're busy decorating your chains, here's the cold, hard truth. Nobody cares. No one is sitting in a corner with a clipboard grading your pain. No one is obligated to feel sorry for what you survived, because the people you blame, they've moved on. And you're still there, stuck, hollow, burning fuel to stay mad, while your potential rots in the basement. You want to escape? Then you need to do the most dangerous thing you've ever done. Forgive. I know how that sounds. It feels wrong. It feels weak. It feels like letting them off the hook. But forgiveness isn't for them. It's for you. So you can walk out a cage. So you can breathe again. So you can finally move the hell on. Forgiveness doesn't say what they did was okay. It says what they did won't own you anymore. Blame is about chains. Forgiveness, that's where you start building wings. So ask yourself, are you still choosing blame? Or are you finally ready to steal back your damn life? So you're ready? Ready to choose building over blame? Ready to stop rehearsing their sins and start rewriting your damn life? Good. Because the first step out of that blame loop, the first move to steal back your power, feels wrong. It feels like letting them off the hook. It feels like losing the Super Bowl of suffering you've been winning for years. And that step is called forgiveness. Yeah, you heard me. Forgiveness. Before you click off, screaming about how unfair it is, and believe me, I know how unfair it feels. Let's get one thing straight. This isn't about them. This isn't about saying what they did was okay. It wasn't. This isn't about forgetting the pain. You won't. This isn't some soft, spiritual bullshit about sending them love and light. Fuck that. This is about you. Raw. Unfiltered, selfish as hell. Forgiveness, the RawPsych way, is the act of cutting the invisible chain that links your energy to their past action. It's saying, what you did broke something, but I'm done letting it break me. It's a declaration of independence from the event, not from the reality of what happened, but from the power it holds over you. Think of your blame like a second job, a shitty, graveyard shift job you never get paid for. You clock in 24/7. Your boss is your abuser, your ex, your unfair world, your task. Replay the trauma, fuel the anger, keep the victim blanket warm. And the moment you forgive, you're quitting that job. You're walking out of the worst workplace on earth. Yeah, it feels like you're abandoning your post, abandoning the justice you think you deserve. But you're not. You're freeing up your damn time, your energy, your mental space. Space to think about something other than how screwed over you are. Space to build. But here's the kicker. Forgiveness isn't forgetting. It's remembering and choosing to redirect the energy. It's taking all that fuel you were burning on being pissed off, being hurt, being righteous, and using to power your own damn engine. It's the ultimate act of self-preservation. It's saying, your actions broke me, but my response is going to rebuild me. And that's where the power comes in. You didn't cause the original pain, but you are 100% responsible for how long you let it ruin you. That's the hard truth nobody wants to hear. Ownership isn't blaming yourself for what they did. Ownership is claiming your power to decide what happens next. It's the difference between being a victim of the past and being the architect of your future. So, how the hell do you do this? How do you forgive the unforgivable? Not in some airy-fairy meditation session. Raw, real. First, acknowledge the pain. Call what it is. Blame the person who deserves it in your head. Scream into a goddamn pillow. Write a letter full of every single fucked up thing they did. And then burn it. Literally. Wash the smoke. Take that poison away. This isn't about letting go of the truth of what happened. It's about letting go of the grip it has on you. Second, identify the cost of blame. What is this second job really costing you? Your sleep, your relationships, your damn dreams. Write that down. Look at the price of staying stuck. Make it real. Make it hurt more than forgiving feels unfair. Third, reclaim your energy. Every time you catch yourself replaying the loop, pointing the finger, feeling that familiar surge of righteous anger, redirect that energy. Ask yourself, where can I put this fuel right now to build something, anything in my own damn life? Maybe it's writing that email. Maybe it's hitting the gym. Maybe it's just cleaning your room. Anything but clocking back into that shitty job of blame. This feels wrong. It feels like you're losing, but you're not. You're cutting the strings. You're starving the blame monster you've been feeding. And yeah, it's a fight. Your brain is wired for that blame loop. It feels safe in that victim blanket. It knows the rules of that prison cell. But outside the cage, there's chaos. There's uncertainty. There's the terrifying possibility that maybe, just maybe, you could actually build something and it could actually work. because that's the real monster waiting outside the blame loop. Not the people you blame, not the unfairness of the world. It's the fear of stepping into the unknown, the fear of owning your future, the terrifying thought that if you stop blaming, you might actually have to try, and you might actually fail. Stay. The fight isn't over. It just got real. So, you're standing at the edge, outside the blame loop, beyond the comfort of that victim blanket, and the monster you see isn't your ex, your boss, the system. It's the fear. Cold, silent, paralyzing. Fear of the unknown. Fear of owning this messy, uncertain future you have to build yourself. Fear of trying and actually failing when you have no one else to blame. Yeah, that's the real gatekeeper, not the prison bars of blame. You could walk away from those anytime, but the terror of what happens when you do. Think about it. You've been living in a familiar hell. You know the rules of the blame loop. You know the script. You know the pain. It's predictable misery. It's a cage you've decorated with stories of how you were wronged. It feels safe, perversely safe, because as long as you're the victim, you know what your role is. You know why things are broken. You know why you can't move. It's a shitty identity, but it's your shitty identity, and the thought of losing it, terrifying. Stepping out of that blame loop, stepping towards ownership, it feels like jumping off a cliff into fog. There are no guarantees, no one to catch you, no one to point at if you fall. And that's the fear whispering in your ear. Stay here, stay safe. At least you know the pain you've got. What if you try and fail again? This time, it's 100% on you. Better to be the righteous victim than the failed builder. This fear isn't just a feeling. It's the final boss of your own mind. It fights dirty. It uses your past failures as ammunition. It reminds you of every time you dared to hope and got screwed. It tells you, see, this is why you don't try. This is why you stay safe. And it tries to drag you back into the familiar hell of blame. Because staying stuck in the blame loop, it's easier. It's less risky. It's a life you already know how to live. Even if it's killing you slowly. Building something new, that requires courage. Not the absence of fear, but the cold, hard decision to act despite the fear. To take the first messy, imperfect step anyway. Even when your hands are shaking. Even when that voice in your head is screaming, don't. Even when you feel like you're going to vomit. Because here's the brutal truth about building outside the cage. The first step doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be taken. It doesn't have to be a giant leap. It can be a tiny, clumsy stumble forward, writing one sentence, sending one email, making one phone call, cleaning one corner of your messy room. Anything that is an action toward something you own, something you are building, something you are claiming, even when the fear is screaming so loud you can barely hear your own thoughts. Because that heartbeat, that tiny pulse of courage, that imperfect, shaky first step, that's the only thing that builds momentum. That's the only thing that proves to fear it is a liar. And that's the only thing that truly leaves the past behind. But the fight isn't over yet. Taking the first step is one thing. Keeping the damn momentum going, that's a whole other beast. Stay, the real work starts now. So you took the step. You stepped outside the blame loop. You felt the fear. You probably stumbled. Good. Now comes a grind. Because keeping that damn momentum going, that's the beast nobody tells you about. You'll feel the pull of the victim blanket, the familiar weight of chains, the comfortable script of how you were wronged. Your brain knows that hell. It's predictable. It's safe. Stepping into the unknown, that takes energy, constant energy. And sometimes when you're tired, when life punches you again, that warm blanket of blame looks pretty damn inviting. And it's not just you. The world liked you in the cage, too. The people you used to blame, they like you pointing the finger. It kept the spotlight off them. Your friends, who thrive on your drama, they miss their entertainment. The system that keeps you feeling powerless, It prefers you stay numb and complaining. When you start building, when you start owning your shit, they notice. And sometimes, unconsciously, they'll push back. They'll try to drag you back into the old dynamics. They'll remind you of the past. They'll subtly undermine your efforts, because your growth, it threatens their comfort. And then there's the enemy in the mirror, your own damn mind, that voice of doubt whispering, "Who the hell do you think you are, building something? You're just a victim. You always have been. Remember that time you tried? You failed. This is just happening again." It will replay your past failures like a broken record. It will tell you the fear from part 4 was right. It will try to convince you to just sit down, to give up, to go back to the predictable misery of blame. This is where the real fight happens. Not the big dramatic moments, but the small, ugly daily grind. Waking up when you want to pull the covers over your head. Writing that email when the doubt is screaming. Saying no to the drama when the blame loop calls your name. Taking that imperfect, shaky step forward again, even when you stumbled yesterday, even when nobody's cheering, especially when nobody's cheering. Because here's the secret to momentum. It's not about perfection. It's about persistence. It's using the resistance itself as fuel. That pull the blanket. Use that anger to push back harder. Those people try to drag you down. Use their doubt to prove them wrong. That voice of sabotage in your head. Use its fear to prove you're stronger than it thinks. Turn the poison into power. The RawPsych way. Celebrate the micro wins. The tiny victories. The fact that you showed up today. Acknowledge the setbacks. Learn from them. But don't let them become your new prison cell decoration. Get support. Find people who see the builder in you, not the victim. Lean on them, because every messy email sent, every difficult conversation faced, every small victory claimed, that's another brick in the foundation you're building. That's another strand of the new identity you're weaving, the identity of the owner, the builder, the one who writes their own damn script. The more you build, the weaker the pull of the past becomes, the louder the sound of the hammer, the quieter the chains rattle, and the more real your future feels, the more fake that old victim blanket becomes. But there's one final beast to face. What happens when you finally build it? What happens when you're standing in your new life and realize you have no one left to blame and nowhere left to hide? Stay. The ultimate freedom is the most terrifying thing of all. So here you are. You face a fear. You took the step. You started building. You fought for momentum. And you finally made it out of the blame loop, out of the victim blanket, out of the cage. You're standing in your new life, built by your own damn hands. And the monster you saw at the edge, the fear of failure, when you had no one left to blame, it's gone, because you did it. You faced it. You acted anyway. But here's the twist. Nobody warns you about ultimate freedom. It's terrifying. Yeah, silence. Because the noise of blame is gone. The excuses are gone. The story of how you were wronged, it doesn't hold power anymore. And in that silence, there's nowhere left to hide. No one else to point at when things get messy. No old script to fall back on when life punches you in the teeth again. It's just you. Raw. Exposed. 100% accountable for the messy, beautiful, terrifying thing you are building. You're not a victim anymore. That shield is gone. That blanket is gone. That cage is gone. And losing that identity, it's scarier than staying in the blame loop ever was. Because the weight of true freedom is the weight of absolute ownership. Every choice, every mistake, every victory, it's all yours. This isn't a comfortable place. It's not some soft, sunny meadow filled with butterflies. It's the raw, exposed arena of your own damn life, where the wind it's hard, where the sun burns bright, where you see everything exactly as it is, without the filter of blame, without the distortion of being wronged. You see the challenges. You see the setbacks. You see the times you still stumble. But instead of asking, whose fault is this? You ask, okay, what's the next damn step? This is the real work, the grinding, daily commitment to owning your reality, embracing the messiness, accepting that failure is a data point, not a death sentence, and knowing that setbacks aren't proof you're a victim. They're just part of building something real. It's not about being perfect. It's about being persistent. It's not about avoiding pain. It's about moving through it with your eyes wide open, because a RawPsych truth, the power you gain when you stop blaming, it's not power over others. It's power over yourself. It's a terrifying, liberating power to choose your response, to build your future, to write your own damn script. You came here because your life wasn't changing, because you were broke, lost, invisible. And the truth is, stopping blame wasn't a magic fix. It was a permission slip. The permission slip to finally start living, to finally start building, to finally stop rehearsing the past, and start writing your future, raw, unfiltered, owned. So, step out of the shadows, embrace the terrifying silence, and start building your damn life, piece by piece, imperfectly, fiercely, because you're not a victim, you're not a puppet, you're not a pawn, you're the architect, and your story, it's just getting started. If this journey hit you hard, if you're ready to stop blaming and start building, smash that subscribe button, join the RawPsych community. We're here to face the dark truths together. Who in your life needs to hear this message about blame and ownership? Share this video with them. It might just change their damn life. What's the first thing you're going to build now that you're out of the blame loop? Drop it in the comments below. Let's celebrate the first brick. This is RawPsych. We rip apart the lies. We rebuild the real you. Stay real.